Hello and welcome. So this is going to be another little review, this time of the Picasso 1932 exhibition. You get this lovely little booklet here, nice glossy one this time. See, we've got a picture of Picasso there. You see that? Very nice. But the guy's got comb over. Can you see that? Comb over. He had to comb over for decades, 20, 30 years before he realised he didn't have any hair and had to shave it off. Anyway, nice booklet. No pictures in it, unfortunately. Bit different too. Where's it gone? Here it is. On the other side of the escalators, there's another exhibition called The Shape of Light. And there you get this little booklet, which is this paper folding out thingy, which is just, that's not what you want. That's a nice one. They obviously put their money in Picasso. Well, fair enough. I probably would too. Now this is called Picasso 1932. It started on the 8th of March. It will finish on the 9th of September 2018. They subtitled it Love, Fame and Tragedy, which I think is a little bit tabloid, but there you go. And they make a point of saying how 1932 was Picasso's year of wonders. Well, I don't know about that. I am not going to be looking at it in those terms, in the idea of Picasso and the story behind it all. I'm not really interested in that. I'm an artist, I'm a painter. I want to know about the work and what I can learn from it, how he did it, what works, what didn't work, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to go through it room by room like I did the All Too Human exhibition, which was a very good exhibition, because this is a very different animal. But I am going to start off by looking at the first room, which kind of really tells you everything that you're going to find in the rest of the exhibition. So just to have a look, first, what I want to talk about is repetition. He went over things time and time again. Same idea again and again and again. So if we look at this picture here, it's quite a simple picture. As you can see, it's this girl sitting on a chair with a red back, and she's got a lute and she's going to sleep or whatever, something like that. This is Marie-Thérèse Walter, who he had an affair with. She's very young, I think, when he met her. I think she was like 17 or something. Met her on the street or something like that. She didn't know who the hell he was. He persuaded her that he was someone that she should be impressed by, and they had an affair, had a child, all of that good stuff, I suppose you could say. Anyway, so one of the things, repetition. In this exhibition, you'll find the same painting again and again and again. It's like he has this idea in his head and it's just stuck there, and he has to do it again and again and again to get it, you know, almost to get it out of himself and try and understand it, work it out, find the best way of doing it. So in this first room, this painting, and next to it, you have this painting, which you can see is, you know, is practically the same painting. This time though, she's got a book. She's got a book there. She's asleep, but she's got a book. So we have that one and that one, and this is typical of this whole exhibition where you have the same painting again and again and again. And we'll see that more later on when I go through, you know, some of the good paintings and some of the absolutely atrocious paintings, because there is some rubbish in this exhibition, and I'm not sure why curators bother putting it in. I suppose it's part of the whole love, fame, tragedy thing. It's the idea of, you know, Picasso as this genius, and almost anything he touches is like, you know, King Midas or something. Anyway, so Picasso isn't a painter. Let's just make this clear right from the start. Unlike some of the painters I talked about in All Too Human, Picasso didn't give a damn about paint. He used paint, oil paints, you know, in order to get an image on a canvas. But he would use gouache, he would use watercolour, he would use pen and ink, he would use pencil, he'd use charcoal, he'd do sculptures, he'd do pottery, he'd do whatever. It didn't matter. The point with Picasso is the image. His medium is the image. So here you can see the paint is unimportant. You know, this could have been done in gouache, it could have been done in watercolour, it could have been done in oil paint, it was done in oil paint. It didn't really matter. It was irrelevant what the medium was. The point was the image that he created. And I don't think these two are especially good, but then they're not bad. They're not bad. They're quite nice. But the point is, they're the same painting. And most of these paintings in this exhibition, they actually have the date that they were painted, because they were nearly all painted on, you know, one single day. You just, right, I've got to do this painting, right, let's just get on with it. Canvas, paint, get stuff on there and get it done. Next day, do another one, or the same day, do another one. You know, that's the way he worked. Then, what else do we have in the first room? We have a sculpture. Now, this is quite telling, this sculpture. I mean, I really rather like this. But what he did is when he found a new model, he would come up with a shorthand. I don't know if he would draw or paint them initially, in front of him. I'm not sure that he actually did that. I think he might have done that a little bit. But once he had worked out the kind of shorthand for, the character of the person, then that was it. He didn't need them sitting there anymore. It was just in his head. He's got shorthand, knows how to do it. And with Mary Therese, it is this, the way the nose goes right over, over her forehead, up to the back of her head. That is the way he did her. And you can see it time and time again. Blonde hair, the nose that goes up, almost like there's no ridge here. And that's how he did it. This is a really nice sculpture though, because it's got power. It's got power, and that's what we want. Then what else do we find? Oh, terrible paintings, unfinished paintings, but they've been touched by Picasso, so they're meant to be amazing. We've got to see them in this exhibition. Don't really know why they're there. This is terrible. This painting is not finished. He clearly didn't like it, and he scribbled out all this top part. If we take a closer look at that, you can see it's just scribbled out with the paint. It's just a mess. It was Mary Therese. You can see a bit of the blonde hair going on there. Here, you can see here how this is just the bare charcoal. So he's got his blank canvas. He draws on it with charcoal. He gets the image going, gets the structure of the image going, and then he kind of fills in the colours. That's what he did. And if it works, then it works great. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. Sometimes you finish them, sometimes not. This is clearly unfinished. You've got all this bare canvas with charcoal. You've got this scribbled out head. I mean, come on. This is unfinished. This is, it's not good. It's pretty rubbish. Okay, let's just make that clear. And there's an awful lot of that in this exhibition as well. So we've had the repetition and we've got the rubbish. Then what else have we got? We've got some weirdnesses. Now this painting does make me funny. I don't think it works particularly well, but you got to give the man points for trying, because he did. He just tried and tried and tried, and he would just work and work and work. And it kind of made me think that nearly all of his paintings actually in the end, they're little more than sketches, because he paints them so quickly. He doesn't finish things. If they don't work, then they don't get finished, and that's it. Over, done, move on to the next one. Decades later, people saying, this is Picasso, it's wonderful. But honestly, lots of them don't work. Lots of them do work as well, but he's made so many of them because he just did one after another after another. If something didn't work, he didn't keep going at it to try and make it work. You're just like, get on to the next one. So this is quite a funny one. Again, you can see how it's just, the colours are filled in. That's the way he worked. He's got the image. The image is what's important to him, nothing else. The paint does not express a damn thing. And that's fine. That's the way he worked. His medium, if you like, was the image, not paint, not sculpture or printmaking or pen and ink. The medium wasn't important. They're just a different way of creating images. Even his sculptures, they're like 3D images. So you can see the paint is just filling in colours. You could almost just take the outlines and put numbers on the canvas, print it out, sell people the right colour paints, painting by numbers. That's pretty much what it is. Once he's got the image drawn on the canvas, he just fills it in, and that's all there is. Okay, so having said all of that, let's now take a look at what are some of the, let's see, what should we do? Good paintings first or bad paintings? Let's do good paintings. Let's do good paintings. Okay, so good paintings. There are some very famous paintings in this exhibition, not least is the one that's on the front cover, which is this painting here. It's called The Dream, I think. The titles, frankly, are irrelevant. I don't think Picasso ever thought about the titles. Most painters don't really. They just get on with the paintings. Titles have to be given to things so that they can be sold as, whatever they are. Anyway, The Dream. This is a lovely painting. As I said, the way he paints, it's so quick, it's so sketchy, literally sketchy, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when it comes off brilliantly. And this is a prime example. This is a beautiful painting, really like it. But again, you can see how the way it's painted is very simplistic in the way it's painted. Paint is not a thing with Picasso, as I've said. filled in colours more than anything else, but the composition is beautiful, the colours are lovely, it just really works. It's a blinding painting, absolutely love it. This is, you know, one of the most famous paintings ever done. Another one in a similar vein is this one, Girl Before a Mirror. There are a few of these, and this is by far the best one. It's quite intense, this one, but I like the intensity of the colours there. Again, apologies for the poor quality of the photography, but you know, what could I do? I was at the exhibition and not really concentrating on it, that's the truth. Lovely painting, really nice painting. Again, these are big paintings, you know, dimensions, what can I say? They're like 5 feet high, that kind of thing. You know, they're large paintings, but colourful, emphatic, and they really get to the point. And in the same way that someone like Frank Auerbach, David Bombo, Francis Bacon are emphatic with the paint, the way the paint is used to get their power across, Picasso does that with the image, the way the image is created. And part of the image is, well, two things go into the image, primarily composition and colour. And here, you know, this is very powerful painting, as is The Dream as well. Beautiful paintings, absolutely love them. Then he did lots of other smaller paintings which are really nice. And there was a whole series of 5 or 6 of these little paintings, all again repetition, same thing again and again and again. This girl lying on a, I don't know, on a bed of some kind or other. You can see some drapes going there, clearly on some kind of red sofa here. This is a beautiful painting, tiny little thing like that big. This also framed really nicely. It's so unpretentious. It's just a lovely little thing, you know. And as I said, when it works really well. I love this painting. It's a beautiful little gem of a painting. And just to show how unpretentious he was, you know, he just wanted to work. He just wanted to get his stuff done. He was lucky enough to be in the position whereby, you know, what he did sold, so he could just do what he wanted to do and just get on with it again and again and again. And it didn't matter. The canvases didn't have to be specially prepared or, you know, any of that nonsense. He could just get on with it. If he wanted to paint on a scrap of paper, then he would, just like here. Another lovely little one. There was another one as well that's on the top of on the lid of a cardboard box, which I haven't got a photograph of here, but it's in this whole. You know, 5, 6 paintings that are all of this same thing. This is another one, exactly the same thing, different background going on, but again, lovely composition, lovely colour, lovely thing. It's just a nice thing to look at. Paint irrelevant, it's the image that's there, and it's just, yeah, lovely, really nice. Then there were some more, to put it more angular, abstracted, kind of reminiscent of some of his Cubist stuff. Women on a Beach is what this is. There's a whole load of these, of which this I think was the best one. I think this is actually gouache, and I just really like this because I think the composition is great. It's engaging to the eye, and that's what good image making is. It engages the eye in what's going on in it. It's not about the paint, as I've said again and again. It's about the image, and this is an engaging image to me. I think it works really well. It creates depth, movement, everything's going on there, and I really like it. I think this is a really nice painting. And then if we get to my favourite painting, I think, from the whole exhibition, which is this. This is just a beautiful painting, and again shows how he just slaps the paint on quick as he can. I've got this idea, I'm going to do it. Maybe Marius Reyes was there, sleeping on a sofa, you know, like this, and he thought, right, that's what I'm going to do. He went to a studio and painted this. And this is, again, this is a small paint. The painting itself is like that wide. So what we're talking, maybe between 16, 20 inches wide. So what would that be? Maybe 8 inches high. And it's just beautiful. This is beautiful. It's got, you know, like 3 colours going on in it. There's a bit of, you know, tonal variation in the face, but it's just perfect. It just worked perfectly as a thing. You can just imagine he was just like, right, I'm going to do this, paint it, it's going to be like this, and just paint it on, some red, yellow bangle, and some green background, and blah, 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 done, lovely. And then he did another one. The other one isn't quite so good, but that's what happens, because he paints like he sketches. It's just, they're just all sketches. But sometimes, I mean, if you've ever spent any time creating art, you know that sometimes things just work off the bat. They just work really quick, and you know, before you know it, you're done, and it's a great picture. And then other times you have a great idea and you do it and it doesn't work, and then you work on it and it still doesn't work. You keep going, you keep going, you keep going, trying to make the thing work. That isn't what Picasso did. If it didn't work, you just move on to the next thing, as we'll see when we get to the bad paintings, which is what we're going to do next. Okay, so the bad paintings, there are quite a few. I'm not going to show all of them, obviously. There's a lot of stuff in this exhibition. So you're just getting a little taster of what's there. Yeah, so let's take a look first at this painting. This was, I think this was alongside the Dream painting, which was really good. And this is just, oh, it's just awful. It's just rubbish. I mean, you can see just filled in colour. He's got the composition, but it just doesn't work. It's just kind of an insipid kind of thing. It's no good. This is a bad Picasso. Next, we have this one. This is like unfinished, filled in colour, rubbish. I don't know what's going on. This is just another horrible picture that's no good, and this shouldn't be put in a frame and you know, displayed as part of the Picasso. It's rubbish. You know, really, someone should be able to do something else with this. It's no good. Another rubbish painting. You can see you've got the lines again. I know the photos rather out of focus, because it's, you know, the lines was drawn on, and then he's filled in some colour, and he's got a bit of a mess of colour going on there. Clearly he didn't know where to go with it, so he left it. That's it. Then we have this one towards the end of the exhibition. This is a horrible painting. This is just horrible. Again, he's got this composition on the canvas and he's tried to fill it in, but it's just a mess. It is just a mess. I mean, how can you call this a good paint? I took a close-up shot just to show how the paint is just, he's got it on and he's tried to scrape it around with a palette knife. It's just awful. It's so scrappily done. I mean, the man just did not give a damn about paint at all. And then when it comes to creating the image, if it didn't work, he just like, whatever, I'm moving on to the next one. Terrible, terrible painting. And then this one, now you would think that this painting, the composition kind of works better than some of those other ones that I just showed you. But again, what's going on? He's trying to get across some kind of anger or upset thing, you know, with the eyes kind of almost like gouged out. But come on, this is just, it's badly painted. It's just no good. It doesn't work. And this again goes to demonstrate what I said earlier. Everything he does, it's like a sketch. It's like quick as he can. This is the idea. Let's get it on the canvas. You know, if you've got a sketchbook and you do that, you just go on to the next page and you do another one. Picasso just had another canvas, just went on to the next canvas. And so all these canvases lying around full of bad and unfinished paintings that are then picked up after he died and think, well, they're wonderful. I don't think so. I think this is another really rubbish painting, not quite as bad as the ones before. Like that one, I think is terrible. That one is just an atrocious, insipid pile of crap. And that one, just again, insipid. Didn't work. It didn't work, so he moved on to the next one. Instead of trying to make it work, he just moved on to the next one. If it was me, I would have just painted over it, done something else, you know, because I don't want to waste canvas. Can't afford to, you know, waste canvas and stuff like that. So he could. So he did. So that's the bad. There's quite a few more bad paintings, but I'm not going to show all of them now because I don't have pictures of all of them now. Anyway, you can go to the exhibition and see them for yourself. So now let's take a look at some of the unfinished paintings. Okay, so unfinished paintings. Now, of course, I've already shown you some paintings that clearly unfinished or abandoned might be the correct expression. But what I want to concentrate on here is there's a room that is called Black on White, which is, you know, it's trying to make something out of nothing, really. Now, the first two paintings I'm going to show you aren't actually in this room, but you'll see why I want to show you them in a minute. So often he would paint, he'd paint sculptures, basically. He clearly has sculptural ideas, and he would paint these, you know, creating this kind of pseudo 3D effect. This is one, and that's another. And I kind of quite like these, because I like the idea of these sculptures. You know, it's kind of like trying to work out what a sculpture would look like without having to actually worry about how you actually make the damn thing, which can be, you know, pretty difficult, because you've got to get bits that fit together and not fall off, and you know, all of that. Making sculpture is a real pain in the arse. So he would paint these ideas, excuse me, You can't quite see in this photo, I'm afraid, but again, there's lots of bare canvas on here, lots of bits where you can actually see just the charcoal with the lines showing where he's drawn the thing on the canvas before, draws with charcoal, then he paints on top. So of course, charcoal on canvas, you can wipe it off very easily and draw another line. We're going to see that in just a second. So these two sculptural paintings, which are early on in the exhibition, really rather nice. Quite like them, although little unfinished, little how can I say, kind of naively done, because he's trying to create the effect of 3D. He's not trying to be Dali or anything like that. It's just he just wants to get the effect of the three-dimensionality, because he's thinking in sculptural terms, but he's using paint on canvas. So in this room, black and white, one of the first paintings you see is this, which is clearly very similar to those sculptural paintings I've just shown you. But this is, look, he's drawn the thing, he's drawn it. You can see the charcoal here. This is all charcoal lines drawn on a bare canvas. That's what he does. He draws with charcoal and then he colours it in afterwards. And so he's coloured in the background, literally. He's coloured it in with paint. And then he got bored of it, he didn't like it, whatever. Someone wanted to have a row with him, he had to go out, he had to feed the dogs, whatever it was. Didn't get finished. That was it. That's, it's rubbish. That shouldn't be in any exhibition. It's ridiculous because it's not even done. It's not even done. He didn't like it enough to get on with it, but he sketches. If it didn't work when he was doing it, when it hadn't been finished, move on. Let's stay. Let's do something else. There's so much. I mean, he didn't always only paint in single days, but there's an awful lot of that in this exhibition. And you can see how if he just wasn't into it, or for whatever reason, painters just got abandoned. So that's that one. Then there's a whole load of other paintings, canvases with just charcoal on them. Some of them quite nice, the lines drawn like a drawing, but they were clearly meant to be paintings and never became paintings. So let's have a look. So we've got this one, Marie-Thérèse lying, sleeping, like some of those others, especially those little paintings that we saw. And it's relatively interesting to me to see all these marks that he's made and then he's rubbed out. But this was going to be a painting, but it never became a painting. For those that might say, yeah, but he always meant it to be just like that. He thought it's so good he'd leave it like that. Bollocks. You do something like that, and the way you're working is you draw on the canvas and then you paint it. You don't draw on the canvas and think, oh, that's enough. I'll do another one now. That's just not how the mind works. If it works, you're going to carry on with it and you're going to turn it into what you originally envisaged. You're not going to just stop, move on to another one. Nonsense. And this is another one. You can hardly even see the mark. I mean, you might think this is the photograph that makes you unable to really see very clearly what's going on. But no, you go and see the real thing. You can hardly see it. It's like marks made on the canvas with charcoal and then rubbed out and left, and he just never carried on with it. He put it down, it got covered by something else, and he moved on to something else, forgot it was even there. That's what I think happened with this one. Because, as you can see in the previous one, he made marks. If he doesn't like them, he gets rid of them, and then he puts new marks on, and he creates a drawing, he creates the composition that he likes. Then he'll get on with the painting. In this case, he started doing that, didn't like what he'd done, rubbed it off for whatever reason, didn't carry on with it, and that was it. And then, yeah, we've got another one, yeah, quite nice composition going on here. But again, it's just the lines. It's just the lines. This was going to be a painting. It's not a painting. It's just some lines on canvas. This is not a finished work of art. This is a sketch. That's all it is. So this room rather annoyed me because there's so much reverence to Picasso that they can have a whole room full of things like that. It's just, come on. These aren't finished. They're not good. I can get a bit from them, and I'm sure people like to see them, but I just find that disappointing, especially this. This is just like, what? This and that. What is going on? Pointless. So all in all, a very good exhibition. I should say the fame bit, there is a room that talks about his fame. It's got some of his old paintings in it with some of his newer paintings. I would say that what you need to know about fame when it comes to Picasso is simply this: Picasso. There's the signature. That's what everyone gets wowed about. He could do anything pretty much, and someone would want to buy it. Now, it wasn't all plain sailing, and for most of his career, there were always people who said, "Oh, he paints like a child, you know, 4 eyes on one side of the face," which of course is not something that he ever did. But the point was, he was Picasso, and those that bought art knew it, and they wanted a Picasso. And then that's why you get things like those terrible unfinished canvases, you know, hailed as these great things that are in exhibitions, you know, all over the world, when really they shouldn't be. I don't know what you should do with them. You put them in an archive or something, but putting them in an exhibition like this, I think that's a bit pointless. I'm not really sure why they did it, but then curators have their own way of doing things, and they wanted to do Picasso 1932, Love, Fame and Tragedy, whereas I'm just interested in what works, what doesn't work, and why. There are also other, you know, there are some other really nice things. There's, let me just find it. This is another one of his sculptural things. This is just cut charcoal, so he clearly liked the way things were going and didn't bother trying to paint it. So this is just charcoal on canvas. Again, I think it's really nice. There are more sculptures that he did. There's a rather nice relief kind of sculpture hanging on the wall, which I think is really nice. There's some other of his wire sculptures, and there's some other paintings, some landscapes, and you know, there's a lot there. It's a big exhibition. There's a lot there, and there's some really great stuff, and some lots of great stuff, and some unfinished stuff, as I've shown you. I kind of trying to just give you the highlights, but I think in the end, the thing that struck me most is how sketchy he was with everything. If it worked, and he looks like a genius. If it doesn't work, it just looks like rubbish, and you think, well, what's it even doing in the exhibition? So I think I'm going to leave you with my favourite painting out of the whole lot. This painting, which I think is probably most people's favourite painting in the whole exhibition. This is just beautiful. It's small, so you don't have to be impressed by its size and be wowed by that. You can imagine it hanging on a wall in your living room or in your bedroom or somewhere at home, because it's just small, it's a nice size, it's beautifully done. It's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Love it. So that is the end of Picasso, 1932, Love, Fame and Tragedy. Good exhibition. Go see it if you can. Thank you for watching.